It could be London, Milan, Paris. But this is Lahore, a catwalk that makes a fashion statement. But not just that. It's also a statement about Pakistan. I've been coming to this country for 25 years. I'm still taken by its colours and contrasts. Outside this wonderful hall, the bombs are going off, there's threats from the Taliban. What importance is this?
If I could tell you one thing about Pakistan, it's this, that we work against all odds. Pakistan's never had it easy since 1947 to this day. I don't think there's been a single time of what I'd like to call stability. But in instability comes stability. And I think we find that we work under pressure better than we work without under pressure.
The designer HSY is one of many people from many walks of life I've met here. Pakistanis determined to pursue their own dreams and a vision for their country too. In Pakistan, that takes courage. Because in the midst of all this glitter, there is a very dark side.
And if you go around the compound...
I dropped by to see my old friend Najim Sethi, a newspaper editor and popular TV host who lives under armed guard.
You can see one or two of the guards over there. Assalamu alaikum.
He's under death threats from extremist groups, and some even say Pakistan's own intelligence services, for his outspoken liberal views. It hasn't silenced him.
Well, this, Lee's, used to be our sitting room.
Yes, and your bedroom.
Yes, but the original bedroom was this.
This is your bedroom?
This is now my studio.
So
this is where I shoot my program.
So this is where your bedroom was?
This is where the bedroom was, and because of various threats. And I couldn't go to the studios because coming and going at a particular time was problematic, and I was advised that this is very dangerous. So I told my producer that if you want me to continue my program, we'll have to do it at home.
That's amazing. So you sit here. Najim and his family tried living and working outside Pakistan, but found they just couldn't keep away.
So we do get these pangs of insecurity and disquiet and discomfort, and how long can we stay here, how can we survive here, and so on. But then at the end of the day, there's no solution but to stay. It's almost by default.
It's the history of Pakistan, isn't it?
That's Pakistan. It's a roller coaster ride. You never know what's going to happen.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Kya haal hai? Most Pakistanis just have to take every day as it comes. For the vast majority, it's a struggle to get by. And yet, somehow they do.
Tension.
Tension?
Tension.
It's getting worse?
Yes.
Are you worried?
Gee.
65-year-old Saeed Ahmed is almost as old as Pakistan. He's been fixing watches for nearly half his life. Of course, the metaphor is irresistible. We're always asking in Pakistan, how much time does it have? How much time before all these problems overwhelm it? Or does this country simply have the time to keep muddling through, as it always has? But a young nation founded as a state for Muslims now finds itself torn by terrible and growing violence over that very identity. Pakistan is a different country to the one I first came to decades ago. And yet, in these moments of calm, you can still find hope. Bibi sanam janam, anari sistanam, Bibi sanam janam, anari sistanam. Zeb and Hania, two cousins, sing in the Dari language of neighboring Afghanistan. Bibi sanam, Bibi sanam. Their songs draw on the rich traditions of Pakistan and its neighbors. That's where they also find the many threads of their country's identity and a fabric that can withstand the pressure.
But I do feel, as all history is, I think this is also temporary, and I just hope the change comes around sooner than later.
What are you picking up in terms of what your reaction to your songs tells you about Pakistan now? Over lunch in Lahore, our conversation turns, as it often does here, to what can turn Pakistan around.
I don't want to sound like a fool, and I do acknowledge that things are not the way they ought to be, and there's a lot of problems. But I also feel, and I consciously started doing that, consciously started looking for what all is happening right. And I think that
looking for positive things.
Yes, and it's important because I think that's when you start using your agency.
On the surface, Pakistan does still work. Normal pleasures and pastimes are possible in many places. Lahore's Minari Pakistan, the Tower of Pakistan, is a public space to relax. It's also a rallying point for protests. In 1940, the idea of a separate state for Muslims on the Indian subcontinent was first declared here. For decades since, Pakistan has lurched from crisis to coup. Still, I don't think expressions like basket case or failed state fit here. But the state is failing its people. So many Pakistanis I know haven't given up hope, but they also fear there could come a day when there is nothing left to hope for.